I had a dream. It was a fun dream with many animals. The next morning I woke up and thought I would like to have a pet. All day I spent thinking about what kind of pet I wanted. A dog maybe? Perhaps a cat. For a moment I considered a hamster. Until finally I knew I want a pet rabbit. Quickly I ran over to the pet store and found the cutest of bunnies. The sign on his little house said, "Mimi, giant bunny." I chuckled. Why do they call you a giant? You're so tiny and cute. The moment we entered my apartment, I could tell Mimi was hungry, so I went to the fridge and fetched a fresh carrot. Mimi ate it in a flash. Then he said, "Ee, ee, ee," which I wasn't sure the exact meaning of. I assumed it meant, "I want another carrot." So I went to the fridge and found one more carrot, my last. Mimi ate it like a storm. Then he said, "Ee, ee, ee," which again probably meant, "I want another carrot." But since I didn't have any carrots and the store was closed, I had to tell Mimi, "You'll have to wait until tomorrow. Then I'll get more carrots for you." The next morning I woke up and Mimi was sitting on my bed. I rubbed my eyes. "My goodness," I said, "you've grown a lot." Mimi was at least twice as big as the night before. He smiled and said, "Ee, ee, ee," which by now I was almost certain meant, "I want another carrot." So I went to the store and bought a whole bag of carrots, thinking, this will last all week. When I came home, I gave Mimi a big juicy carrot, which he ate in 2 bites. Then he ate another carrot and another, and when the whole bag was empty, Mimi said, "Ee, ee, ee," which surely meant, "I want another carrot." "I don't have any more carrots," I said. "You ate them all, and the store is closed now, so you'll have to wait until the morning." Mimi seemed disappointed, but since there was nothing I could do except wish him a good night, I did so and went to bed. The next morning I opened my eyes and Mimi was standing on the floor. He was bigger than a small horse. "My goodness," I said, "you've grown a lot. How did you do that?" Mimi looked at me and said, "Ee, ee, ee," which meant, now I knew for sure, I want another carrot. So I got out of bed, ran to the store and bought 2 extra large bags of carrots. I remember thinking, these bags will last at least 2 days. As soon as I came home, I gave Mimi a carrot. He had finished the first bag by lunch. Then he said, and quite impatiently too, "Ee, ee, ee," which meant, I want another carrot. So I opened the second bag, which was empty before sunset. Then Mimi said, "Ee, ee, ee," but since I didn't have any more carrots, I had to tell him, "You'll have to wait until tomorrow when the store is open." The next morning I almost fainted. Mimi was as large as an elephant. "My goodness, you have grown a lot. Now I understand why you're called Giant Bunny. You're very, very big." It was now obvious that Mimi had outgrown my apartment. "What do I do?" I said. "My living room isn't big enough. My whole apartment isn't big enough. Look, you can barely stand up straight." There was only one thing to do. I went back to the pet store to ask for help. I explained to the store manager, "I was here a few days ago and bought a bunny. It was about this size. Now, only days later, it's as large as an elephant. My apartment is too small. What do I do? Do you have any advice?" The manager looked at me for a moment. I wasn't sure she believed me. Maybe she thought I played a joke on her. perhaps she decided I was a little crazy. She said. You didn't by any chance feed him carrots, did you? Of course, I said. He's a rabbit. Oh no, said the manager. What? What's the matter? Well, explained the manager, you have a giant bunny, and if giant bunnies eat carrots, they grow very large. Well, I sighed, I noticed that. But what can I do about it now? The manager looked at me with a stern face. Go home and feed your bunny a piece of lettuce. Keep doing that for a few days, and we'll see what happens. Probably it will be fine. But above all, no carrots. I thanked the manager for the advice, although I felt a certain reluctance to feed Mimi anything at all, given how much he had grown. I decided to give it a try. So for dinner, I gave Mimi a piece of green lettuce. He ate it without excitement, then said, "Ee," which either meant, I want another piece of lettuce, or, more likely, I want a carrot. Either way, I pretended not to hear. The next morning, Mimi was smaller, about the size of a small horse. Great, it's working, I said. Mimi seemed happy, so for dinner I gave him another piece of lettuce. And to my great joy, the next morning he was again much smaller, about twice as big as when I got him. That same night, I repeated the strict diet. And the following morning, Mimi was sitting on my bed, about as big as when I first saw him. There you are, I said, small and cuddly again. Mimi looked at me and said, ee, which I now decided meant, let's go outside and play. And we did. So if you ever want a giant bunny and decide to feed it carrots, make sure you have a huge lawn for it to play on.